So there you are, Paul. Go ahead.
All right. So good. Okay. Essentially, just about afternoon if you're in Vancouver somewhere or wherever you are in the world. Hello, hello, hello. So we're back again, obviously, with the July call group. Errol's going to be talking about his big dream in a few moments. But before that, just a little few reminders, really. When it gets to the question of anything to do with your business or with the mission that we're on, please ask. We can drill down deep into answering very specific questions about tactics, strategy, any aspect of that. That's all okay. Secondly, as well, remember that at the moment, because we're only growing, if you can tell other people about it, give them an opportunity to obviously experience being around Errol. I think it was Jim wrote, your income is a reflection of the 5 people that you spend most of your time with. I would add to that if you are in a community where you are able to access someone like Errol, and which is very rare in its own right, but to be able to sort of spend time with him will influence your thoughts. It will influence the decisions you make, uncertainty, and perhaps the apprehension and fear that you may have had in going solo, in starting your own business. Certainly that's been the impact on me, difference to the way I think. And if all of your results are ultimately driven by your mindset and by the thoughts that you have, then hanging out means that the way you think is going to change, and therefore the results you're going to get are going to be far better than you've experienced in the past. And I would like to believe that you'd like to share that with someone else. My big mission, with us, Carl and Ty, is to really impact the world, change the world one entrepreneur at a time. We want to make a difference, a huge legacy, all behind him in terms of obviously getting that out to everybody globally. So I'd appreciate your help to kind of share that mission with people, give them an opportunity to come and listen to Errol to begin with. They can jump in on this call at no cost. They can get an experience of the impact that he can have on their life. And then, of course, they can make it fantastic. So I really appreciate your help if you can go out and do that and kind of act as advocates for us in these early stages. That would be fantastic. If you are here, I suggest you just join. Just get involved. Use the community. Use the private community on Facebook. Ask questions. Tell us about your business. Tell us about the challenges you're facing. There is nothing you are going through that we haven't been through, and we have solutions. And it's not a big scene. So anything you're currently doing, he will be able to transform your business model, transform the way you think, transform the results you get, and put you self-sufficient and living the life you want to live. Life's too short to spend it living the wrong life. So get in the community, Errol, learn from Errol, change your life. And if you don't, I will come find you. So with that said, I'm going to pass over to Errol. Errol, over to you, my friend.
Well, thank you very much, Paul, for that. And I want to suggest to everybody that our community is starting to grow. And the nice thing about this community is it's positive, and we're starting to create some very nice networking where everybody in the community is starting to get to know each other. And as we develop, we want to develop that worldwide. So if you're in a community, an area that you're just the only person there, if you could help expand that area, because what we want to do is we want to grow exponentially worldwide eventually. And as we have our syllabuses that we are going to teach entrepreneurialism, it is going to be very exciting and very interesting for us to grow, and our communities grow, and then we can network into those communities so we actually can then go worldwide and expand your businesses on a worldwide basis. Today is a very exciting day for me because we get to actually have a case study, and with us, Carl is with us today, and he's going to share what has happened to him, because it's been very prolific and very profound. And I'm going to suggest that many of us have experienced what Carl experienced. And the results that Carl is getting are results that you could be getting too. So, Carl, I'd like to introduce you to the group and have you explain what's happened to you. You've been very profound with us, and I'm very excited to have you with us. And as you know, Carl, your success is my reward.
Thank you, Errol. Yes, great to be here. It's my first ever webinar as well. It's a joy to be joining you in my very first ever webinar. So it's going to be an experience for me, definitely.
Why don't you share with us what's happened to you since last October when we met?
Yes. So when we first met last October, I kind of had the entrepreneurial bug. I've been in a band for like 15 years, never had a kind of inkling of being in business. And in the last kind of year and a half, I started going to events, but I had no clue what I wanted to do. I had hundreds of ideas in my head, but I didn't know how to pick one or how to execute an idea. I had no clue. I was kind of frozen. I had all these ideas in my head, but I couldn't get them out onto something that was moving forwards. And I felt kind of, I don't know, suffocated essentially. And then I luckily got to meet you at an event at the end of last year. And we spoke for a brief moment at the event, and then we kept in touch. And you started to, you changed my mindset essentially. I was just stuck in this thought pattern and couldn't move forwards. And you kind of helped me essentially gain focus and pick something to move forwards with. And ever since then, it's been a very profound change since October last year, going from pretty much nothing to where I am now. It's huge. Yes. It's been a fun journey.
Why don't you tell everybody where you are now? You have more than one product that you're building.
Yeah. So I have the pleasure of working with you guys on the EDI. I have a neurofeedback business, which I was able to, that was my sole focus at the time. But I was able to shift focus a bit off it and kind of concentrate on a new profit center, which is a digital marketing agency, which has only been up and running for, say, 3 months, I think. And I've already got paying clients. I'm already handling social media for huge, like multi-million following entrepreneurs. And yeah, it's crazy. Celebrities, I'm handling their websites and stuff. It's in 3 months, just because I've had the very pure focus, and I'm able to, I'm just productive. I've never been this productive before. I've not really been able to utilize my time as effectively as I can now, which is for me the most important thing. Sitting down at a calendar in the morning and not knowing what's in it and what you're going to be doing for the day, that stopped me for a long time. But now, because of your business template and using productivity tips from within the group, it's just been a life-changing few months. It really has.
And you know, the interesting thing is anybody can do it. You actually experienced it with no business experience, and you're developing now because of what we discuss here, the template and the daily method of operation. You're actually starting to. The number one asset of an entrepreneur is time, and you're utilizing your time more effectively. You've become a better salesperson. You know how to present your products now, and you have great imagination now.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
now,
it's all falling in place.
You're starting to see where you can go, don't you?
Yeah, now it's just and the second thing that was an issue for me was I didn't know where I was going to be going. I knew I wanted to go somewhere, but I didn't have a end goal. I didn't have these visions and goals set out. So I didn't know when to get there, like how to get there. And if I got there, I didn't know when I got there. Like now every kind of week to 2 weeks, I'm reviewing all of my goals, all of my visions, and it's just keeping me moving in a forward trajectory. It's very powerful.
How do you stay in productivity versus activity?
So I have a long list of to-do tasks, and I kind of split them in between that's going to make profit, or a task that isn't necessarily going to make profit, but it's going to help me move forwards. And then I kind of I I choose more from the actual profit tasks than the non-profit tasks, and prioritize those every single day. So my calendar is broken down into hour slots, and I kind of slot in what's going to move me forward the most in the morning, and then I kind of slot around the kind of non-profit tasks around it. And that's what I do every single day, and it works.
Is it amazing how the money started flowing, the cash flow?
Yeah, it's quite scary how quickly it was. Yeah, just from that shift in productivity and the knowing I'm actually able to do it just because I have these tools that I can utilize.
So it wasn't big giant moves, it was little moves, wasn't it?
Yeah, very incremental, day by day. Everything kind of slowly started slotting into place and making sense. I never expected to just get knowledge in my head in one day. It's very gradual, but it works.
What would you say to a new entrepreneur, somebody that is in a position where they're really not sure whether they can make it or not?
The same thing that you tell me, I can tell them. Like, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Like, it's just a matter of speaking to the right people, getting help, getting mentors, learning from people that have been there and had the exact same struggles that you're having right now. That's the biggest advice I can give. Get help.
Outstanding. Where do you see yourself a year from now?
Very large agency, perhaps even with an exit strategy in mind, so I can sell it on or scale it up to something massive. I just mentoring other people as well. Certainly in digital marketing, that's obviously a huge pain point for a lot of businesses is being visible. So I think helping businesses and business owners with being visible and utilizing digital marketing is where I see myself in a year's time.
You know, it's very interesting and rewarding to me to have watched what's happened to you over the past few months, because you're literally a different person today than the person that I met before. You're more driven. It seems you're more dedicated to what you want to do. You feel like I feel like you're in service to other people. Like you really feel like you're achieving now. You're accomplishing.
Yeah, no, every single day I'm achieving something. There's always a positive. There's always either something I've learnt or something that I've gained every single day. And I'm obviously making mistakes every single day, but those equal lessons. So I always see the mistakes as lessons as well. Every single day, it's just a constant learning curve going up. It's, nothing but forward motion. It's great.
That's excellent. Congratulations, Carl, for what you've achieved. I'm very excited for you. And I'm also thankful you've really helped our group grow because of your belief in our group and what we've done. And obviously you're a product of what we want to do. And we have more people that are becoming a product of our entrepreneurial group. It's very hard to find a place that is positive, isn't it, in this world today?
Yeah, it really is. There's a lot of skeptics out there and people that don't believe that there are people that can genuinely help you and help you move forwards in being an entrepreneur in business in general. So I like to think that we're changing that perception of you can get help.
Are you starting to see the kind of lifestyle that you can create for yourself now, which I feel is very important?
Yes, I already have some big visions of where I want to, what things I want to experience, and I know I'm going to get there now. And it's always been like a pipe dream, all these things, cars and houses and things like that. But now I know I have a plan to get there. It's there. Now I know how to get there. It's just taking action.
You know, there's so much there's so much negativity in society. It's very difficult to stay positive. Tell me what effect the group has had on you and the ability to be able to keep your mind focused and towards your goals.
the biggest thing is knowing that every time I speak to someone that's in the group, on the phone or within the group itself, that we're helping someone, and that's the biggest thing for me. Every time I speak with someone, they can ask me a question, I can ask them a question, and everyone's kind of coming together and moving forwards together. It's huge. And it's.
Did you see we're in 22 countries now?
Really? Wow.
Isn't that amazing? I mean,
that is.
You were. I think, I'm not sure, but I think you were the first member.
I was the first member.
I think you're 0000001.
Yeah, patient zero, that's me.
and you know, we brought on somebody in Cambodia. We have people in Indonesia. We have people in Switzerland. We have people in Romania, Poland, the UK, of course, is probably our stronghold, thanks to you. And we have Spain, Portugal, Germany, Canada, United States, and throughout the United States. The idea is that you know, people are looking for a foundation where there's positive. Remember when I told you to go out and test the marketplace, and I said, be involved in conversations and tell me whether they're negative or positive? Can you remember that?
Yeah.
And you came back and you were amazed, weren't you?
Yeah.
It worked, yeah. The negative influence. And now here you are, you're a leader now. What do you think about that? I mean, that's very exciting, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that I'm here now, like doing what I'm doing right now, even on this webinar, again, this is my first ever webinar. I never dreamed of being on a webinar, let alone with you guys and having all these people in this wonderful group and just seeing everyone moving forwards. It's, yeah, it's great.
I'm very proud of you. I really am very proud of you. Again, your success is my reward, and I can't compliment you enough, Carl.
Thank you, Errol. It's been a pleasure. It really has.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is what's available for us. The fundamentals are actually relatively simple. And Carl, you know, I'm a simple guy, and you've gotten to know me. There's nothing that I try to do that's extremely complicated. As a matter of fact, if anything, I try to oversimplify things. I know there's a lot of complicated people out there. You've been to many seminars, and you know these people take something that's basic and make it sound very complicated, to the point where you wonder, you question yourself whether you can do it or not, don't you?
Yeah, they have an idea and they fluff it up and make it. Yeah, but you seem to do the opposite. You take a very complicated idea and make it very, very easy to understand. That's the reason why I've gotten to the point I am now, because you just give me very salient, to the point advice. And
but one of the things with your time, that when we talked, you identify productivity versus activity now very easily, don't you?
Yeah, there never used to be a line in between them before. They were just the same glob of things to do. But being able to pull them apart and analyze each task that needs to be done, yeah, it's the most powerful thing to move forwards. It really is.
And for those of us out there, activity is a lot of movement with no productivity behind it. You can stay busy all day, but the cash register doesn't ring once. Productivity has a cash register ringing at the end of it, doesn't it, Carl?
It definitely does, yeah. Yeah.
And the idea is to know when you're in each one of those groups. It's not that activity is not necessary, and when you can develop staff, as you're getting close to now, Carl, because you're starting to become, you know, your time is overworked now. building more than one profit center too, which, you know, a lot of people didn't think they could do. Paul Elliott thought you only worked on one profit center, period. And when we showed him what multitasking was all about, which you've learned, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I have. Yeah. There's no way I couldn't do it without being good at multitasking. Otherwise, I'll just get overwhelmed from one business and not be able to focus on another one. So I'm able to prioritize tasks for everything.
Is there
break it down?
You could share with the group about how you utilize your time, and the first thing is you've really recognized how valuable your time is, haven't you?
Yeah.
And how do you utilize it? How would you go about planning a day to make sure you stay productive?
So in terms of actually having everything written down, I use a great free tool called Trello. And that's like a huge like vision board, essentially. I could explain it in another video, but I have all my tasks on this board. And then I will kind of each week, I will have my calendar in front of me. And then I will go down the list of all the tasks that need to be done to get me to the point to complete that week. And then I'll start populating my calendar day by day, filling each hour slot. Something that I'm ensuring to do is allocate actual lunch break now, because I've not been doing that for last year, and I'm burning myself out by not having lunches. But yeah, having a calendar.
So
yeah, having a calendar in front of me.
You know, it's very important to be able to delegate yourself to when you're on track and when you're off track. And you know, we call our program On Track. And when I talk to you monthly, we talk about your being on track, but you choose when you want to be off track now, don't you?
Yeah, that's been the biggest thing. The trouble with being an entrepreneur is people will sit at a desk or a computer for 15 plus hours a day thinking, oh, if I'm not at this computer, I'm not busy. But when you start neglecting time off to recover and recuperate from being so active mentally, it can be really detrimental to your health. Something that I've experienced many times. So I have to make sure that I allocate time away from just thinking and working. That's as important as working, definitely.
I have to admit I've been guilty of that too. Sometimes I get so passionate about a project that I just can't put it down. And this project right now is so exciting to us. I mean, can you imagine when we talk about developing 100 million people that I want to be in our community? And now that must have sounded like Pollyanna to you in the beginning, and now it's sounding very feasible, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's just an everyday part of life now. It really is. Couldn't imagine any other way of doing it.
If you were going to, if you were in front of a group right now, and the question was, Carl, what's the most important thing that I could focus on tomorrow? What would you say to them?
Planning. If you don't plan everything that needs to get done, then how do you know what to do tomorrow? How do you know what to do the day after? You need to really take a step back and really analyze what goal you want to hit, like the big picture goal, and then you need to break that down into like 4 or 6 segments of how each component is going to get you to that big goal, and you keep breaking it down into chunks, and then that's when you can start planning. So yeah,
so
calendar.
The old thing that I talked about, you eat an elephant one bite at a time, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what you do is you've got your big goal and you work back in segments to get you there. So like stepping stones, sort of.
Yeah. Otherwise, I just feel this huge overwhelm. If I don't do that, then yeah, I feel I get stuck again. I kind of get a bit lost and kind of have to ponder what to do next. So if I don't have it written down into small chunks, then yeah, it's the best way.
You know, really what you're talking about, overwhelm. I found that planning overcomes overwhelm, because when I felt overwhelmed, I was keeping too much in my head, and many of us do that. And you were one too that kept too much in your head, and you were always not always confused, but when you came to me and said, Errol, I'm confused. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. And I said, then get it out of your head and put it in front of you, where you can have a look at it, right? Like a movie. And then the beautiful thing about it is we get to build our own script, don't we, Paul? I mean, don't we, Carl? We get to build our own script, and you're actually designing your lifestyle now.
Yeah, I had the idea, had the film title, and then it's just it's growing into this huge long film script, and I get to edit it and go from there.
So
right.
You're saying you're your own director now.
Yeah.
And producer.
Yeah.
It must be very empowering to you.
Yeah, I never imagined having this kind of this ability, this tool set in my life. I've always kind of saw myself as someone that's just going to have a regular job, never be to the point where I can work for myself. But yeah, I've managed it, and again, anyone can do it. It's really not difficult.
The amazing thing, Carl, is what you're sharing with people now. I'm going to suggest that many people experience, and it might even turn them away from entrepreneurialism, because they experience temporary defeat, or just not knowing what to do. Not having like you said, the stepping stones, 1, 2, 3, 4, just follow that simple template, which, my template's up on YouTube, and anybody here that hasn't watched it, I amble on there, but you'll get the template. And I think I'm just looking at Ty right now. It's available on our site, is it not? Our template's available on our site, and I just encourage people to use it. Sometimes you get. How did you turn yourself to utilizing the tools? What was the transition that, you know what I mean? Where you got from, you were aimless to, these are tools I can use.
Since day one of being in the EDI, in the group with you guys and speaking with you and the rest of the team, like that was the number one focus that I was given. Like, that was your priority for me, was to help me be productive and plan out where I want to go. So that was, since day one of being in the group, it really is.
I noticed, I mean, what you're sharing with us is you're very busy each day, are you not? I mean, you could get to overwhelm very quickly, but yet you still take time to, you're one of the most encouraging people in the group. There's always a like, Carl like, or a comment that you make. Is it encouraging to you to watch other people grow now?
Yeah, especially in the group itself, in our little community Facebook group, we're seeing people post that aren't active on Facebook usually, and they're now finally doing things like Facebook Live videos, where they've been terrified of doing them, but they feel kind of encouraged and supported and safe to start testing it in our little community group. And that's given them the confidence to then go out and into the open Facebook world, essentially, and start doing it in real life. Just things like that, support that people are giving and feedback. It's great seeing the group grow. And
what you just talked about, safe environment. You come from the rock and roll world. It's probably the most unsafe environment there is. How do you find the environment inside our group? It's just a little, very tight-knit community of like-minded people, like just people like us that are either struggling, but they're there for a reason to get to where they want to go with our help,
or they're in a business at the moment, but they kind of need help kind of scaling it up. But everyone's there for a reason, because they're a community and they're supporting each other. And we're having people, as you say, partnering up and supporting each other. It's just nothing but positivity in there. It's fantastic.
You know, it's very interesting, and I know this. If any of you go to the site and you post a question to Carl, he'd be more than happy to answer it. He really is interested in being an active part of this group, because it's changed his life, and that's what we're all about here. You think about this: 75% normally of a country is made up of small business. And that small business is the majority of the economy. It's not the big businesses. It's small business that's the majority of the economy. Can you imagine us, Carl, being able to increase through entrepreneurialism 10%, from 75 to 85%? What an impact that could have on a country.
It would be profound. It would.
And our end goal, which I know you're very passionate about this, that my end goal is to be able to have us teach entrepreneurialism to children, which we don't get. We've all agreed now that we don't get in school. We don't get the ability to take care of ourselves and become independent through our education system. So the only way that we're going to get that for ourselves and our children and our future is to give it. And our 5-year plan, is to have a nonprofit organization that teaches 10 to 19-year-olds for free entrepreneurialism. And I know you get the hair on the back of your head, the hair on your back of your neck stands up every time we talk about that, doesn't it?
Yeah, I love it, because it brings me back to my time at school. I was terrible in school because nothing kind of jumped out at me. Nothing struck me as something I wanted to do. But I think having the option in school to be taught how to start your own business is going to be genuinely life-changing. It's something we're not taught. We're taught kind of economics and basic business stuff, but not how to be your own boss, not how to start your own company. We're only taught how to work for other people and have a regular job.
Well, that we get stuck in that too, don't we? And then you get stuck in, I'm a rock musician. Who's going to hire me?
Exactly. Yeah.
Half of society is afraid of me.
Yeah. No, it's again, I'm proving a lot to myself, other people too, but mainly to myself, that I'm able to transition from no real qualifications, no real school, no real academic skill, spending 15 years touring around the world. Not really. Obviously, that was a great experience, but going through that and kind of beating my body up.
Just listening to you say what you're saying, Carl, I'm at awe at what you're doing, because I still remember the last time I was in London and you came out to see me and I had my book for you. You were standing in line waiting for me to sign it. And we had a chat together, and you talked about how your life was changing. And, you really touched me deeply. It really had I got to watch myself, because it had an emotional effect on me, because that's exactly what I'm hoping to dedicate my life to. I was trying to do it through other people, and you know me, I really don't want to be the issue, Paul. You know that, Carl. I would prefer you to be the all-stars. And I just had a Rosemary say, when are you coming back to England? When, we talked about this, and when are you going to do another show? And, it's not really what I want to do, but it seems like, we do need to have some rallies. And we'll talk about that in the future. How do you see yourself as an educator to other people now?
Again, I never thought I'd have any answers that people would be looking for. But all it takes is to be that one step ahead of someone else to know how to help them, to know how to answer a question. And yeah, I get questions all the time, and the fact that I have the answers to a lot of questions, it's surprising to me. So I love just paying it forwards.
What do you think what is the biggest question that you're asked by people?
It's definitely how to pick a profit center, and just because a lot of people have a lot of ideas, same where I was. They have a lot of ideas. They don't know which one to pick, usually because they're afraid of if they pick the wrong one and get to the point where it fails, it stops them in their tracks from even starting. So I typically say, pick something that's you're passionate about, and pick something that is needed. There's a pain in the market for something, and if you can combine a strong passion with something that people really, really need, rather than thinking you're creating something that people need, it's just going to be a success. That's why I started the digital agency. That's why I'm doing the neurofeedback. The neurofeedback is pure passion. It's helping people. Digital marketing agency, because it's a huge pain point for everyone. Everyone's on the internet and everyone struggles with the internet. So those two combined, they kind of are very harmonious in what I'm doing.
You know, it's very interesting as I see you move through. I've through our group, I've identified the 3 levels of entrepreneurialism. Number 1 is transition, where you transition from being, the word would be, I don't want to say supported, but services for money. Other people are in I guess in control of you. A job, you're working for somebody, to becoming independently supporting yourself, which you've done, and then establishing your businesses. And now you're working on lifestyle, aren't you? Where you can actually decide. Second level of entrepreneurialism is to decide where you'd like to be. You know, we don't all need to be millionaires, Carl. I mean, it's nice, but we don't all need to be. We need to have our challenges, and we need to satisfy our passions. And it might be in service, and it might not be a millionaire, but we still make a good living. We still take care of our creature needs, and then we establish a lifestyle, whatever lifestyle we want to live. And you're in that point now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm able to. The most important thing is having time freedom, having the option of having time off, not being tied to that 40-hour week contract, and having the freedom to put in loads of hours on something.
We talked about that, about an entrepreneur can buy back their time.
Yeah.
And for me, that gives you time for creativity, which when I look at entrepreneurs, I look at the number 1 entrepreneur is taking care of their time. That's our number 1 asset. The number 2 is selling something, because nothing begins until something's sold. And many of us, and you were too, many of us said, look, I'm not a salesman. I'm a bass guitar player, man. I don't sell stuff. But you found out that if you were passionate about something, you could give a presentation. And it was a skill you needed to learn, isn't it?
Yeah. I've never done it.
You learned it. And now because you're representing things that you really believe people need and make a difference to them, I don't want to classify you as a great salesman, but you can give a presentation, and that's the second skill. Nothing begins until something's sold. When did you finally believe that?
Again, after my first sale.
Back when I was doing monumental for you. Hey, I got one, man. It gave me money.
Yeah. The first sale in the neurofeedback and the first sale in the digital marketing agency. Those two, I'll never forget those two. When someone said, "Yes, I will pay you for this service." And,
it's funny because I can think back to one of my first businesses. which was before internet, was mail order, right? And we had vitamins by mail order. And I went to the P.O. box, and there was 9 letters in the P.O. box. You know, and the 9 letters, I think it only added up to about $80 in sales. I was absolutely elated. I was on my way. I could see millions and millions just pouring in. You know, I need a bigger box. I got 9 letters were in there. There's going to be 90 the next time. And it's quite exciting, isn't it, to have your wins along the way. And
yeah,
we talked about that, you and I, that small wins are very important. And you celebrate your small wins now, don't you?
Yeah, every time there's a positive in my business, it is a win. It's because I know it's, again, another stepping stone that I'm jumping on to get me to where I want to go. But I don't forget that I'm part of the journey. I can't just kind of switch off until I feel like I've hit the goal. I'm part of the journey, and I'm enjoying each stepping stone as I hit them.
How do you like your independence now, where you can see that you have money, that you take care of your creature needs, and beyond that, you're starting to accumulate wealth or accumulate money? How do you feel about the transition?
It's very emotional and freeing. That's the biggest word I can use. It's just a relief of being free, knowing that I'm not going to have to go back and just get a regular job, knowing that I've got the skills to be in business for the rest of my life. I'll always be an entrepreneur now. I'll never go back to how I used to be.
And the fundamentals that we teach, I would say anybody could learn. Would you too?
Yes. Yeah. If I can do this, literally anyone can. Like, trust me.
That's very humbling. That's very humbling to say. And I really appreciate you being here. You've anything else you'd like to say to the group or the people that are listening today? Now, remember, this is also going to be posted on YouTube. So you're going to be in immortality now.
I better not say anything stupid. No, just that the fact that I've had this huge fundamental shift since 4 or 5 months in the group. It's just such an opportunity for anyone that's been in my shoes to just join this group with us. It's just such a perfect community, perfect environment to grow your skill set and become an entrepreneur. So I just implore everyone to just join us in the Entrepreneurial Development Institute.
Thank you so much for being with us today, Carl. You're a real credit to our group, and I'm really pleased to have you as a founder, and certainly somebody that will carry the baton as we build and grow.
Thank you.
Hang on for 1 second. I'm getting a question here. So basically, what we're talking about is we're calling people to action here. This is a movement now, isn't it? An entrepreneurial movement, and we need people to join us, and we need people to pick up the baton and carry the baton. I have 47 businesses that I've built, and I'm working on right now a syllabus that we will be teaching as a team and a unit. And Carl is very typified of results that I've seen when people change their minds. You know, I mean, it was just a minor change in attitude that created a major change in Paul's direction. And we talked about this, a small change 5 months later is massive difference, is it not?
Yeah, I'd imagine it takes people years to kind of have this shift.
And if you're not part of our group, what we're doing is we're capping the group at 100. I think we're halfway there now. And we're capping the group at 100 because I actually want to communicate with all of you. And this is an educational group. Once we cap ourselves at 100, then we're going to start the expansion program. And I'm working actually this weekend. I'm meeting a PhD, a doctor who is a superintendent of insurance, of a superintendent of schools, retired. And she's going to help us with the syllabus and the certifications. And she's done this at the college level. So I'm really excited what we're going to come up with, Carl. And a lot of this stuff is from your input, what you have experienced and related. And as new people join our group, their experiences and what they relate are going to be the foundation, which is the foundation of what happens a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. So again, I congratulate you for being part of it. And I would like everybody that's listening to join us and become a part of a positive, influential society that cares about each other and is working towards changing the world. And it sounds impossible, but it's not, is it, Carl?
No, it really isn't. And again, if I can do it, yeah, anyone can.
You know, my next book, as you know, I'm working on is called Changing the World One Entrepreneur at a Time. And the beautiful thing about it is I get to experience this webinar with you, and the fact that you've changed your life and you might affect 1 million people. And I just got to work with you. And that's the way it works, changing the world one entrepreneur at a time. So I thank you, and I encourage everybody else to join us. You know, I'm going to leave us with, there's no magic in small dreams. You've heard me talk about this. And 2 people in our group asked me, well, Errol, what are your goals? Where do you see your company, this institute, being 5 and 10 years from now? And when I start talking about my goals, the first thing we want to do is we want to have a training syllabus that works for people, that people can get in and learn and utilize and build their life from transition to lifestyle to, again, scaling. And you'll have that choice, Carl, as your business grows, whether you want to scale it or not, or you want to keep it at whatever level you want to keep it. It's going to be your choice, though, isn't it? And
yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing I know. It's my choice.
That alone is tremendously empowering, isn't it?
Yeah.
and then
it really is.
And then creating an entrepreneurial opportunity within this, because we'll have people that will teach the syllabus and sell the syllabus. Then we want to expand to every country in the world. Very much like, say, Narcotics Anonymous or Alcoholic Anonymous, where you can go somewhere in the world and there's a meeting. And we'll have entrepreneurs everywhere in the world, and we'll wear something that will identify us to other people, that people will know, hey, that guy's an entrepreneur. That guy is changing the world. And that's a big goal. No magic in small dreams. And I'm thinking 100 million people, and then 100 million people actively working towards teaching a generation to be entrepreneurs. And a very bad guy said, give me a generation of people and I'll rule the world. And he almost did. And had he succeeded, we'd be having this conversation in German right now. So you think about that, training our children, what is going to happen. Those are gigantic dreams. But there's no magic in small dreams, is there, Carl? Are you finding, last question to you, are you finding you can see bigger now, bigger vision than you did 3 or 4 months ago?
Yeah, I have a big vision in mind, and the fact that I know that I'm going to get there, that's the most comforting thing, is knowing that I can achieve this kind of point in my life that I never thought I'd be able to go, and knowing that I'm going to get there someday. Might not be tomorrow, might not be next year, but I know I'm going to have a fulfilling and happy life.
Congratulations, Carl. Thank you very much for being with us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us today. I'm going to start interviewing a lot of people in the group now. So our next month we'll have another webinar. I want you to the date will be posted, and I want you to please promote that date for us, and let's get more people involved, involved in our movement. This is a cause, and I say this with all humility, this is a cause to change the world, and we can do it one entrepreneur at a time. And I thank Paul Elliott for being involved in our webinar. I really thank Ty for controlling or managing our webpage and managing our Facebook. And thank you so much, Carl, for your activity.
Thank you.
Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.